What's up? Dave here, and I am ready to dissect each and every Black Friday deal that AppSumo puts out. Today, drop number 4 hit, and the theme is Build Without Limits. Now, I'm going to go through each one of these tools in reasonable depth. They're not going to be full-length reviews, or this video will be 6 hours long, but we are going to take a look at all of the features. I've got some dedicated videos for these already, so if you do want to dig in a little bit deeper. First up is Brizy. I've got a very recent review of Brizy. I think this is one of the best LTDs for website builders ever. It competes with something like WordPress without all of the fluff. There's not plugins and stuff for Brizy. So if you want to do website building, you want to do blogging, Brizy is a great option for that. We've also got Triplo AI. This is a tool I'm going to be publishing a full-length review on a little bit later on. Triplo is a desktop application. It also works on mobile, platform agnostic, Windows, Linux, Macintosh, Android, macOS. This is going to allow you to bring AI into every single element of your life with a simple key command. It's not a Chrome extension. It's actually very cool. I'll be going through the features of that in this video and then a deeper dive later on. Next up, we've got Krisspy. I did a full-length review of Krisspy earlier this year. They've done a major revision since. This is a great tool for doing things like UX and UI design using AI agents. They also have added in the ability to actually create code right inside of Krisspy, so you can at least get a start on building out that new app or new website that you want to work on. I think Krisspy is a really cool tool, and they've definitely made some huge improvements since the first time I reviewed them, and I liked them back then. So next up, we have Greta. Greta is kind of like if you use ChatGPT to build an application, but it can actually launch the application right there. It uses React and Supabase. So yeah, really cool tool here. We're going to at least scratch the surface on what Greta can do in this video. And the final tool today is NoCode-X. Now, the one dig that a lot of these vibe coding app builders often get is that they are not secure. You're basically setting yourself up for security vulnerabilities. NoCode-X takes exception to that. They put security as first and foremost, right? It's like the first thing on their little thumbnail here. Security is very important to NoCode-X. I will say that the usability of it may be a little bit more complex. So this one is for advanced users, and you'll see what I mean as we go through the tools. We're going to go right into Brizy in a second, but first I got to let you know this video is not sponsored. You're going to get my honest opinions on these tools, and if you want to support my content, I've got my AppSumo affiliate links down below. If you click that, it definitely helps me to make more videos like this one, and thanks to everybody who has been doing it already this Black Friday season. All right, let's get into Brizy. Now, Brizy can do landing pages, websites, it can do blogs, it does pop-ups. We're going to go ahead and just get right into the website builder here. I tested the AI in my most recent review, which I, again, will be linked to in my Black Friday playlist down below. We're gonna go ahead and try this out. The cool thing about Brizy's AI is that you can just connect it up to your existing social media and it will build a website from that. The one downside to the original implementation of AI was the fact that it was limited to like a single page website. They have since fixed that, so I'm excited to see how this pans out. I'm going to use a client. I've actually used this client quite a few times on my channel. I'm going to use Enlightened 4D Imaging. This is one of my oldest clients when we first started our agency. They are still a client today. So we're going to go ahead and build them a new website using AI. I should mention that you don't have to use AI to use Brizy. If you want to use it like an old-fashioned drag and drop builder, you can definitely do that, and I'll show you it in a moment. But let's try out the AI function. So let's select what pages you will need. I want a services page, an about page, a reviews page, and a contact page. Yeah, these all sound good. Go ahead and build that website for me, Brizy. So that last step, that was the thing that had changed. It didn't exist before. They basically built you a home page, and then you were left to your own devices to create the other pages. So here it is working. Brizy's always been beautiful. You can see the nice little animation here. Sure, it's just a stock thing that's playing, but when things look good when you're using it, it just gives you higher expectations. It's more enjoyable. It's nice to have nice looking tools. I don't think we need to shy away from that. Not everything has to look super developer-y. I'm not allergic to code either, but let's let this thing cook. All right, here we go. This looks pretty good. I like the font selection. We've got 26,000 happy clients. They've got the real phone number on here. So yeah, if you're in the Minnesota area looking for a 3D ultrasound, look at these images. Looks really, really cool. This was all done real testimonials here. This is actually from their Google My Business. Looking really good. Actually, this is an image from their lobby. Let's go into the editor and take a look at what is available. All right, here we are in the Brizy editor. This is the traditional Brizy editor that existed before they had AI. Of course, they've made improvements to it over the years, but this is a very intuitive, beautiful editor. If you've ever been frustrated by the WordPress block builder, this is definitely going to be a lot more intuitive. Like, for example, here, the AI did not get the business name quite right. It should say Enlightened 4D Imaging. So I can just write in line there. It's very smooth and fast. If I wanted to move some things around, let's say, I wanted, I don't know, the stars to be beneath the name of the testimonial. I can just drag and drop, move them around. Everything is resizable, so I can make the image bigger or, whatever you want to do. We've got this little palette over here for making our adjustments. I could change the background. So I'm going to select this area here. I'll go to the background and, I don't love these colors. Maybe I'll just make it kind of more of a bluish look. I'm just moving my gradient around. And as I click away, everything kind of updates. All right, that's a very subtle gradient. I like how that looks. Super easy to adjust things. Over on my sidebar, I have a collection of other tools available. We got the main hamburger menu here where I can see all of the pages and posts on my website. It did generate all of those other images or all those other pages, that we talked about. So like here's the about page. I can go ahead and open that up. I'm gonna not save my changes and just go ahead and load that other page. You've got your elements over here if you want to build additional components to the page. So you can drop buttons in, you can go ahead and add icons, alerts, all of the normal stuff that you would find in any modern page builder. You've got your site styles over here, which you can also regenerate using AI. So if I wanted different colors, I can do that. And you can see as I update the colors, it updates everything on the live website. So it's very easy for me to say, oh, those colors are okay, but maybe we could try a different look and just keep loading through different color combinations until I find one that I really like. And this button down here is for collaboration. So if you're working with clients, you can simply click that and you'll go into collaboration mode, where anywhere you click, you can leave a comment to give feedback on a design or request changes. So I'm going to leave a comment. My other option is to leave a private comment. Let's go ahead and leave the comment. And you can imagine if I was collaborating with someone, they could come in, reply to this comment, and once the change is done, mark it resolved. These are the plans over at AppSumo. For a single code, you can build 5 websites. What is that, like $12 per website? That is an incredible price. And keep in mind, this is a lifetime deal. It's not going to be a monthly recurring cost. So absolutely a great opportunity here to get away from those expensive web hosting costs. For me, I think Brizy really stands out. If you are building a lot of landing pages, trying to do lead generation, it's going to be a great fit for that. It's very easy for the average user. You don't need to be a web developer to utilize it, and you'll be able to get great looking pages using their templates as well as their new AI system. For $69, the price is definitely right. So go ahead and check it out. I've got my link down below. Next up is Triplo AI. This is a desktop application. It also works on your mobile phone, works for all platforms, including Linux. So here's what it does. If you are doing anything on your computer, you can go ahead and invoke AI to help you out, gather the context. You can do a lot of things with this, but I'm going to give you a very real world practical implication. So I'm reading this article here from Noah talking about time management for busy people. And you know what? It's really long, and I don't think it would be very wise of me to spend so much time reading this article. So I'm simply going to select it all. I could select a portion of it if I wanted to really dig into it, but you know what? The whole thing is pretty long. So I'm going to select it, and then I'll invoke Triplo. So for me, that's going to be option spacebar, and it pops up inside of my desktop. So I can move this anywhere. Like this works on every application, not just in a web browser. I'm going to have it summarize my selection. So I'll just say summarize this and then slash like you do in Notion, except 2 slashes, and say selection. So now it's going to read this article for me and summarize it, but I want it in bullet points. Now, I could certainly just improve my prompt to say, create the top 5 takeaway bullet points, but you know what? I'm going to be doing this with a lot of articles. So really, it would save me some time if I were to create a custom prompt. So over here, I can create some custom instructions and I'll say top 5 takeaways. And for my custom instructions here, I said, create top 5 takeaway bullet points from blog posts. Include a brief 1 to 2 sentence explanation if necessary. And I spelled necessary like an insane person. All right, much better. I'm going to enable the instruction and hit save. Now back in the prompt, I can see that my top 5 takeaways custom instruction is currently active. I'm just gonna delete this and I'll just say selection. I don't need any more context. So you can imagine it's very fast for me to look at a blog post, invoke the tool, have my custom instructions on, type selection, hit return, and now I'm going to get my top 5 takeaways. I'm currently using GPT-5 Nano. There are a ton of models you can choose from. You can see them all here. And there you go. I've got my top 5 takeaways. I can rerun this prompt if I want, have it regenerate. I can clear it out or copy it. Now, you might be thinking, well, I'm just going to continue to chat with this like I am using ChatGPT to ask more questions about the article. In order to do that, you'll need to turn on chat mode, which is up here. If I turn chat mode off, everything goes away. This is a one-time chat by default. Now, that doesn't mean all of your work is gone. You can head over to the history, which is just right over here. There's lots of tooltips, by the way, so you always know what the buttons do. And then we can easily continue with this in chat. I'll say, do you think this is good advice? And it's going to continue to chat with this article. There is a lot of other features to go into, including the ability to create your own prompts that you can activate with hotkeys. So if you're a power user, you're going to love that. There's also automation built in. So you want to send your data to other parts of the web, you can do that as well. We'll look at all of that in my full length review coming up shortly. So get subscribed, turn on notifications so you don't miss that one. Next up is Krisspy. This is a tool that uses AI agents to design and code websites or applications. Let me show you how this works. So when you get your Krisspy account, you'll click right up here where it says create a new product, and then you can choose between a quick start and a full app. A quick start is really great if you want to make a single screen or maybe a landing page, something like that. If you want to do a full app, it's going to create multiple screens for your application. So when I say screen, if you're new to apps, it's going to be every different graphical interface that you might encounter. The login screen, the password reset screen, the actual tool that you're using in between. So let's go ahead and create a full app here. It's going to ask you a few questions. Now it says full app generation costs 200 to 300 credits. So keep in mind that number. We'll look at the AppSumo deal page to know exactly what you'll be spending to create an app here. Now, this might seem a little daunting. It just wants you to describe your app idea here. It does give you some examples. So if I wanted to create a web app, I could choose the Tasty Hub example, and I could use this as a starting point to kind of make sure I give it enough information to create a good output for me. It does have AI enhanced, so if you just want to ramble in some ideas and then use AI to improve it, you could certainly do that. Or maybe a better alternative would be to grab all of their examples and then work with another LLM to actually create the product specs. Let's just work with their example right now. I'm going to create Tasty Hub here. We'll proceed to the next step. And it says we are connecting the dots. It's creating the project, initializing the prompt. And it didn't even get through that step before it takes me to the next screen where I actually define my product. So this is based on that initial prompt, but I can go ahead and refine things if necessary. I'm going to go ahead and make a desktop application here, not mobile. I've got my audience all laid out. I can add additional audience profiles and industries if I needed. So far, this looks pretty good. We'll proceed to the next step where we could upload our logo mark, and any other assets we might need. I'm going to skip that for now, and it's going to go ahead and give me some options for templates here. This is new since I did the initial review where it only had one template. Basically, we've got 2 built-in themes. There's this one over here and this one over here, just kind of different color sets, but you can customize that with a Figma import or your own text and images. I'm going to move forward with this purple theme, and we'll move forward to the next step where I can get very specific about my colors, change all of the UI components, all of the cards. That all looks good. We're going to get a very vanilla or default type of generation here, but it's going to go ahead and make all of the screens we need. While that's being developed, let's look at the plans and pricing over on AppSumo. Remember, it was 200 to 300 credits to create an application. Well, you get 500 credits a month for tier 1. If you need more, you can go all the way up to 3,600 credits per month with tier 4. All right, so my app is done. It created 19 screens for me. These are all the wireframes I would need to actually build out this application. I can see the UI elements here where it populates all the dynamic fields, or I can toggle it off with this switch, and I can see where the placeholders are, where images will be pulled in and data will be pulled in from a database. You can scroll into a specific screen just using Control and the scroll wheel on your mouse, and I can start to edit this either using AI and just describing what I want to change on the screen, or I can select particular elements by choosing the mouse down here and then scrolling around and actually making changes myself by just typing or even using AI right here. There's of course AI on all of the different options. There's a nice feedback system over here. If you are collaborating, many of the plans on AppSumo come with team seats, so you can go ahead and interact with other people, not just robots. And the ability to test out the application does exist. You saw I just hit a play button there. It's going to load up kind of a mock version of the tool so I can see what this screen would look like and actually use the app. I want to go look at the feed. What is the feed going to look like? All right, here are some recipes. I can click in and see those actual recipes. It just generated this using AI. It's pretty incredible. It is mobile responsive, so I can see what it looks like on a mobile phone, a tablet, as well as a desktop view. When you're all done working inside of Krisspy, you can export your project very easily. There's an export option down here. It's also E on the keyboard. You can download the full React codebase or export the screens as Figma designs for further refinement. So as an LTD, Krisspy is a little bit pricier than we're typically accustomed to seeing on AppSumo. Tier 1 starts at $119. Tier 4 goes all the way up to $900. But I will remind you, designers cost 30, 40 times this. Even if you don't get your final result with your initial output of Krisspy, it's certainly going to get you started a lot faster than working with a real human. You can bring in humans into the mix if you think it's necessary. We're going to continue our look at no-code website and app builders with Greta. Greta is a chat interface that actually can develop and deploy your entire application. Let's try it out. So here is the interface for Greta. You can just type what you want it to build or import from GitHub. They do have some templates down here or some recommended prompts. I'm going to say, go ahead and create a landing page for me. I just clicked on that prompt and it's going to start to generate the landing page. You can see the code here in real time. It's creating the index page, all of the HTML. Pretty amazing time we live in. All right, it's almost done writing the code here. The footer is being generated currently. I'm going to guess that's probably the last component that it will build. You can see all of the code that has been created already. There is several different pieces of code. Now it's doing the CSS. And we've got the final output here. It says I've created a stunning premium landing page with modern design. And that chat just went away as the actual application starts to render. So you can see over here, I've got a browser view. We're at localhost right now. It's going to install with npm. There are two modes up here. We've got code mode as well as preview mode. So preview mode obviously going to show us the final output. If we want to browse through the code base, we can certainly do so. There are integrations, by the way. If we go up to project settings here, we can integrate with GitHub to save our project, and we can also deploy directly to Supabase. There is a connection for Google Analytics if you want to track usage. And here we go. Here's my website. It looks pretty great. Even has hover animations as I go over each card. Yeah, definitely a really impressive look. You just click right up here to deploy your project and it's going to be live on the web instantly. So here is the actual site. You could visit it. I'll drop the URL in the description. Now, obviously nothing works here. It's very generic text for a non-specific product, but the foundations are there. This is a really impressive site. If you're wondering if it is mobile responsive, yes, it is. There are tools here to preview it in mobile mode. And if you want to edit the text, you can certainly do so. There's a little selector right over here that lets me choose an element on the screen, and then I can simply go ahead and change the text. So here we go. This is a great website. There's some color options here as well as some layout options. But the best part is you have access to the actual code base. So just dip over here, go ahead and open up your CTA and edit things like you would any other HTML file. And if you want, you can download this code. Just go over to your project settings, choose download code, and there you go. As far as the AppSumo plans go, I think it's very reasonable. There are 3 different tiers here. You can see on tier 1, we do not get Stripe or custom domain integration, but if you move up to tier 2 or above, you will get that, and you'll get a lot more credits as well. So tier 2 is definitely the sweet spot, and you can always add additional credits in here if you like. So $750 a month, that's reoccurring, or you can go ahead and add in an additional amount of credits right here. Keep in mind, these additional credits are one-time, non-refundable. Our last tool of this drop is NoCode-X, but have no fear, I will be back again tomorrow with the final drop number 5. What will it entail? You'll have to tune in to find out. NoCode-X, like I mentioned in the introduction, is a no-code builder with security in mind. It's also a little bit more complex, not quite as beautiful and simple as we just saw in Greta, but you know, you can't have everything in life. If you want to have security, sometimes it's going to be a little bit more nerdy. So here's the interface for NoCode-X. I will mention there is a interface that looks a lot more like what we saw in Greta. They call it Rocket Mode, and it's simply a chat box here where we can begin building our application. Just like Greta, it does give us some ideas down here for how we might get started. Like maybe you want to build a blood pressure measure application. Sure, I don't know what that would even entail, but let's try it out. So I've got my chat over here. It is now thinking, and it's going to begin building the app. Starts off with an application description. It's been populated for me. Of course, I could make some modifications if I needed to. Everything looks good, so I'll click over here where it says looks good, go to the next step. The next step is the customer journey, where we can see each step the customer would take to sign up and actually use our application. This also looks good, and we should go to the next step. Next, we've got requirements and key features. If I wanted to make any changes here, I would just type back and respond how I want it updated, but I'm going to continue proceeding through whatever they give me to see the final output. Our design system has been displayed. I don't love these colors, but I'm going to go with it. Looks good. Go to the next step. I kind of wish they would put a button over here to kind of grab your attention. It's a lot more like cursor. So if we're doing, our vibe coding over here, we've got the proceed button, rather than having a proceed button on the actual design that we're looking at. You could be like, whoa, where do I go? I mean, you'll get used to it quickly, but as a new user, you might, I have to actually click over here. And so there's so much purple that it's easy to get lost. Okay, I skipped over a few steps here. We have alerts, we have measurement schema. We're going to continue to proceed through the app building process until we actually get some files. I can show you the other mode when everything has already been created for us. All right, it's going to create some test data for me. That's going to be great. Quick update here. It did take a long time to create the test data. I actually thought for a minute there it may have been stuck in some kind of a loop, but it is continuing. It is moving on to the next screen, which is the root page layout for the blood pressure tracker. We can see everything it's doing here. While it's working, you don't get a lot of visual feedback in terms of, knowing that it's still creating things. But as you can see, our UI is starting to be created here right in front of our eyes. So here is what it did for the navigation bar, a premium 48 pixel glass morphic navigation bar. And for the footer, it says a comprehensive full width footer with 6 responsive sections. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, there we go. Looks pretty good. Let's continue to the next step. Even the text down here in the footer is pretty good. It says monitor your heart health with precision and ease. All right, the screen keeps flashing as it creates more and more elements. We've got the navigation up here, which includes the dashboard, the history, the trends, and reports. Can't really interact with this, but it is still generating. I am getting pretty low on credits. I did not purchase this LTD myself. You can see here, my resources have exceeded. The way this tool works is it actually measures you on credits as well as CPU usage. So over on the AppSumo deal page, you can see you get a certain number of CPU minutes per month. Tier 1 starts with 500, and you can go all the way up to 10,000 CPU minutes. Conversely, I'm on the free plan, which gives me just 5 minutes per month. So I hit that limit pretty quickly. Now I can still dip over to the visual builder and see everything it created for me and show you the interface here. So I've got a file structure. I can see all of the files that it created for me. In fact, I can even open them up and start to edit them inside of their visual editor here. So even though we're dealing with code, we're not actually dealing with code. Everything is a visual editor. We're entering, basically filling out very complex forms. There is a nice plugin system so you can easily integrate with other APIs. We got MailChimp here, Google API, Dropbox, Stripe, so you can easily connect up third-party services that you might need to make your app fully function. When your app is actually ready to be deployed, there are a lot of environments to test things in. We've got development mode, testing mode, accept mode, and production. So just go ahead and hit publish. You'll have to save a version. I've got a test version here, and then you'll be able to deploy it right inside of NoCode-X. NoCode-X does host the application for you, but you can also self-host if you'd like. It's going to require a little bit of DevOps skills, so it's not for the faint of heart. Most people will probably elect to just deploy directly inside of the NoCode-X platform. If you're looking at Greta and NoCode-X and you're not really sure which one to choose, I would say go with Greta if you're more of a beginner user and you're just looking to get going building applications. Go with NoCode-X if security is first and foremost the most important thing and you really want to build a detailed application. And let's not leave Krisspy out of this equation. I would go with Krisspy if you plan to build this into a real application that's going to involve a UX designer. I think getting started inside of Krisspy and then exporting to Figma is a really great option. So that's drop number 4. I think it's a pretty good one. What do you think? Leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you're grabbing anything or if you just have a question about any of the tools in today's video. I'll definitely be checking that and responding to as many people as possible. Once again, I got my link down below. Clicking that helps out the channel a ton. Get subscribed if you want to see more content like this. My name is Dave. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next review.